you're setting yourself up for failure, right? You are not creating a scalable agency. There's no way that you're going to be able to handle enough sales calls and do it all yourself if you want to get to 10, 15, 20 million. Can't do it.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Surge. We started doing the agency growth series here at the Surge that we do every single week. And the reason that we wanted to do that is we also get a lot of questions from agencies, from friends, from partnerships that we have about how to scale an agency. You know, you could have an SEO agency, a paid search agency, a PR agency. So we're going to do these more often, possibly, I think, Joe, once a month or so. So this week, we will talk about how sales and marketing actually work together at your agency. Now, Joe, you are involved in our sales process a little bit, and our process is very straightforward. We put out a ton of content out there, and we also do paid search on Facebook, on Google, on YouTube, and we do a lot of retargeting on ad roll, and we have a ton of leads coming in. But you and I actually, we've had multiple meetings along with our salespeople and our sales manager on how to manage these leads and put them through a process to actually close those leads, but more importantly, qualify them before we close them, right? And we went through so many different processes, and yes, getting the leads are nice, but of course it doesn't mean anything if you can't close the sale.
Yep.
So what can you tell us? Let's, I guess, talk about the top 3 things that you believe are important when we are processing these leads that come from marketing.
Yeah.
I'm more involved in sales. You're more involved in the marketing side of Optimum 7. What would be the top 3 tips or elements that you have seen that helped us streamline this process?
Number 1 is going to be communication. You need to have communication between your marketing and sales team. Any gap in communication is going to lead to some of those potential prospects that you have in the funnel dropping out, right? Either miscommunication on whether that was a qualified lead or not, miscommunication on what that lead was for, right? So what campaign brought in that lead. If there's no communication between your marketing team and your sales team, you're going to see a disconnect that's going to lead to a drop in potential conversions, right? Number 2 is having a process in place, right? If you don't have a process of what happens when that lead comes in, now, who's responsible for outreaching first, right? Who's responsible for the first touch point, second touch point, third touch point? If you don't have that process broken down, again, you're going to see a lot of leads that you're bringing in fall through the funnel. Number 3 kind of reinforces number 1, which is the communication. However, number 3 is utilize your marketing team within the sales process, meaning your salesman can know the sales playbook from back to front. That's perfectly fine. However, they are not an expert in what you're trying to sell. If you incorporate that expertise into your sales pitch, you're going to see a much higher close rate.
So based on what Joe said, I'm going to break down the agency sales cycle for you guys in 60 seconds. What you're going to have is you're going to have your inbound leads that come in through different channels, and you have to integrate that with Zapier or some other tool into your CRM. You might be running Salesforce. You might be running HubSpot. It doesn't really matter. Then you're going to have your SDRs who are going to nurture these calls and qualify these people as soon as they come in. Now, you got to call these leads in the first 30 minutes. You cannot cross 30 minutes. Then, once the SDRs qualify these leads, they push it over to BDRs, which are the closers. And the closers will basically, if they need, get a sales engineer on the phone, which is a marketing expert or a development expert or a programmer, to actually move that through the sales cycle and close the sale. And then you have at the beginning of this process, if the leads are not inbound, these are for the leads that actually you want to get the attention of. These are the ideal customers you want to work with. Your prospectors will reach out and create engagement and visibility for your brand. This is how your agency grows. If you don't have this structure, you're going to need to create a marketing to sales to close funnel that actually helps you close these sales with your agency. So, Joe, let's talk about pre-qualifying leads, because we get maybe 300, 400 leads on a monthly basis. And not all of those leads are great. And not all of that business is ready to convert, right? So 2 questions. Number 1, how do we qualify that they have the basically I always say pain, budget, decision. They have a pain. They want to solve a problem. They have the budget. They're not too small. They're not a startup. And then you're talking to the decision maker.
So when it comes to the qualification, like you said, do they have a pain? Do they have budget? Are you speaking to the decision maker? You can actually get a lot of that done throughout your actual targeting and through your actual campaigns that you're running, right? So the pain is your angle. The ad that you're running addresses a specific pain point. So now if somebody's actually giving you their information and they're coming in and they're converting and they're submitting an inquiry, you know they have that pain. Now, do they have the budget? You might not want to qualify them just, on your campaign level from a budget standpoint. So that is now going to be taken place by the SDR. Once the SDR reaches out, they're going to ask specific questions, and they have to, right? What is their budget? Are they currently working with an agency? Have they ever worked with an agency? How long have they been in business, right? These are the questions that they need to ask in order to assess, is this someone who actually has the budget to invest into a digital marketing strategy, into a custom functionality? So without those questions being asked, you're going to see you're wasting a lot of time and resources nurturing a lead that at the end of the day is going to have sticker shock the moment that you present them with a proposal.
Yeah. So, and you can do this qualification. You can have multiple qualification processes. First, you can qualify if you actually want to get on a phone call with them. Second, once you're on the phone call, you can qualify what kind of service, what kind of package that they belong to, or what kind of customer they are. Do they want marketing? Do they want e-commerce? Do they want migration? Right? So you have different qualification processes, and that brings the conversation into another area which no agency owner wants to talk about. And I'm talking about smaller agencies, usually agencies maybe doing less than $5 million annually, is most agencies don't have a sales playbook. And they don't have a sales team. The owner is still doing the sales, right? And they don't have a sales playbook. They don't have the scripts that you just mentioned, how you take a prospect, even a qualified prospect, from 1 to 2 to 3. So what do you say to all those people who are running agencies without a sales team, without a sales playbook, or with a sales team and they don't have a sales playbook?
You're setting yourself up for failure, right? You are not creating a scalable agency. There's no way that you're going to be able to handle enough sales calls and do it all yourself if you want to get to 10, 15, 20 million. Can't do it. Right? So it's not a matter of, and you like to say this all the time, it's not a matter of how, it's a matter of who, right? You need to build your processes so that other people can do that for you. And if you're not creating a sales playbook and training SDRs and training prospectors, then essentially you are setting yourself, you're setting a ceiling for yourself where you're not going to be able to break because you're a one-man show. You might not trust anybody else to do it. That means, you're capped, right? You're only one man. There's only so much you could do.
Yep. And this is why we wanted to talk about this topic, where your marketing and your sales team needs to work together. Your marketing systems, your lead generation systems, because you might be generating leads on Facebook, on Google, on Bing, on your internal organic traffic, right? Or you might be doing retargeting, or you might be doing outreach the way we do it with prospectors. You might be doing cold email. How is that translating to your sales team? Does your sales team actually know what's going on in your lead generation? And do they communicate, which is the first subject that Joe touched on. At Optimum 7, we went through this process in the past few years. We actually have checklists. We have a checklist for sales playbook, and we have a checklist for agency growth. If you need this checklist, contact us, and we're happy to send it to you, or we're happy to even get on a phone call with you. We'll talk to you guys next week.